Welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. Como siempre, yo soy Eddie, el niño vaque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian dream bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. And in tonight's episode, we're joined by a true WWE Attitude Era legend, D'Lo Brown. And we dive into his longevity, the culture, road stories, the nation of domination, and the evolution of wrestling across all promotions, and so much more. So, como siempre, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on! Are you ready? You ready?
Yeah, man.
D'Lo Brown! Can you hear us?
All right, how's that?
There we go.
Okay, there it is. Old guy moment there. Don't mind me. Old guy technology.
Oh,
Never that.
please.
Never
Stop.
that.
I can barely navigate this. It's ridiculous.
Bro, my 9-year-old daughter can walk through this stuff like it's nobody's business.
Oh,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? My 4.5-year-old son can navigate things that I like. It's unbelievable. I'm like, how? How do you know any of this?
She'll grab my phone and just start doing this. And I'm going, I didn't know my phone could do that.
Oh my good. Okay.
What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Well,
Let me just geek out real quick.
Eddie's gonna geek out for a moment. So let's, if you would indulge us,
Please.
I will.
Okay. D'Lo Brown. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't even know what to say anymore. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Okay. Let me just start off by saying thank you so much for giving us the time and the opportunity to not only have this conversation with you, but also just pick the master brain that is D'Lo Brown. You have to understand,
Correct.
sir, like you are not only we're looking at the real deal now, first of all, right? That's
right.
one.
That's right.
Two,
That's
we
right.
are looking at the greatest European and intercontinental champion of the Attitude Era and of all time. I mean,
Hands
let's
down.
just get real.
Hands
Thank you.
down.
Hands down.
Hands down.
And I mean, I always, and I tell Ariel this all the time, and we've spoken about it in other episodes and things like that, but to be able to, have someone in front of us from the Attitude Era, I just we get it. As fans, we know you got your heavy hitters, you got, The Rock, Austin, like Triple H, Taker, we get it. But the people the workers, the talent that made Monday Night Raw and the Attitude Era so special.
The glue guys. The
Right,
guys.
the backbone
true
of
cats.
the
true
companies
ones.
was the D'Lo Browns, the Steve Blackmans, the Al Snow, the Gangrels, the Shamrocks, like the Funakis, like Farouk. I mean, the list goes on. That you guys made that 2-3 hour show, obviously, because remember, it would always switch, right? But
Yeah.
you guys made it incredible. You guys were the reasons why we would tune in that early to watch and to see what's going to happen, because everything mattered at that point. And
Right.
just, okay, I'm going to stop ranting because I'm going to pass it on to Ariel, because Ariel's going to, give you the rundown, the lowdown of the show
lowdown.
and the format and what we're going to
Give
get
you the
into. So
lowdown.
please,
Well,
Primo, go ahead.
Okay.
Before I get into our lowdown, I'm also going to take my moment to geek out. Just not going to do it nearly as bad as Eddie did. What I would like to do is wholeheartedly and sincerely thank you from the bottom of both of our hearts, because we understand how busy of a man you are, and for you to be able to give a little bit of your time to two guys who just grew up watching wrestling, loving wrestling. I'm 46 years old, so I was 17 when we were in the Attitude Era. So I remember being right in that age of like DX Nation.
Okay.
And that was my, oh man, like me and my boys couldn't wait for Monday nights. And the thing is, we never jumped ship. We never jumped to Nitro.
See,
We
there you go.
never jumped. We
There you
never
go.
jumped. So it truly is an honor to have you here, sir, because you are, as Eddie said, just a multi-time champion. You are a face who's recognized around the world. And as I said, I mean, to be able to get two guys from New York, just, a quick shot and a little bit of your time is beyond amazing. And now I will stop talking and I will get in. I will say thank you wholeheartedly, and kind of go into from there. But if you have anything to say, please just
I'll just say this. I appreciate the love and flowers you guys throwing at me. And I always say, um, yes, we were the glue guys. We were the guys who held the Attitude Era together. The mid card is what Attitude was built off of, and the main event is what drew the houses. But all the stuff I did out there means nothing if we don't have great fans watching, if we don't have people appreciate what you're doing. And I could do a triple shooting double Lindy off the rafters. If no one is watching, did it ever happen?
Did it happen?
So there's no me without you. So my thank goes right back to you guys for sitting in and tuning in every Monday night, because without you guys, we're just guys in spandex and baby oil.
See, class act right there.
Oh,
So
man.
that's a class act response. That's unbelievable. Well, as I said, I don't want to take up too much of we don't want to take up too much of your time. So I just kind of want to get into what we're gonna do. Of course, basic, quick interview style. We just call ourselves a little staple question sandwich. We always start off with the same question, whether it's a superstar, a wrestler of any kind, or a fan, and we always finish with the same one. So that's that's our sandwich. So the first question that we like to do is I always kind of start this off, just because Eddie says I word it a little bit better, and I think it's just because I just tell a better story. What is your first memory of wrestling? Like, I remember my first memory is I just remember being with my grandfather in his living room in the Bronx, watching Univision, and Lucha Libre was on. And I just remember being there, at like 4 or 5 years old, in 84, and just seeing it. Eddie was, when Kane debuted, it was when he came, oh, that's gotta be Kane.
It's gotta be Kane.
What is your first recollection match? Was it a specific match? Do you remember the opponent, like the wrestlers, or is it more of just like an amalgam of everything that you just grew to see a couple things and just fall in love with this industry?
And that's a great question, because there's so many things that have inspired me or made me become a fan of wrestling. But I have a vivid memory of being like 9 or 10 years old, and this is when a cable box still had a cord connected to it, and you had to push the buttons to change the channel. And I remember changing the channel and clicking on to TBS or whatever it was, and there was Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Yep.
And there was Dusty Rhodes.
Oof.
And there's Dusty telling me why he needs me, and he later goes on that night, he's getting beat up by I don't think it was a Horseman. I can't remember who it was, but there's Dusty laying there bloody with the crimson mask on.
Man.
And I remember yelling to my grandma, who hated wrestling at the time. I remember yelling to her, going, "Grandma, I found real wrestling," because it wasn't that cartoon stuff that WWE was doing,
right,
or
Doink the
WWF was
Clown.
doing. Yes,
Right.
it wasn't that cartoon
the
stuff.
plumber and
Yes.
the dumpster.
So when I
The
found it, I
dentist.
was like, "Grandma, I found real wrestling," and she was like, "Real wrestling?" And she just laughed. And I said, I gotta watch this. And I ran back down and just sitting there watching.
Wow.
And I was just enamored, and I was caught up by the showmanship, the story, the large in life characters, guys who were everyday superheroes on TV. It wasn't a movie. They were there every day on TV doing this, and they were doing superhuman things. And that was my first love, was George Championship Wrestling. And then I got lucky. I grew up, you guys are New York, so PIX and
Channel
Channel
11.
9,
Yeah.
WR.
WR.
Used to have wrestling on. Well, down in Philadelphia, it was TV, Channel 29 and Channel 17 and Channel 48. And I grew up right in the middle, so I kind of got the best of both worlds.
Oh, nice.
So
Wow.
I saw, from New York, I saw the ICCW. And I saw them broadcasting those shows. And in Philadelphia, I got to see a lot of WWF stuff. So I was very lucky where I was. We could get channels from both sides. So, man, I got inundated with wrestling. And on Saturday, between Saturday morning, the 4-hour block, and Saturday night, the 4-hour block, I used to get 8 hours of wrestling every Saturday.
Wow.
And I saw everything from world class to Georgia Championship Wrestling to Florida to Mid-South to WWF, AWA. I got to see everything. So I was so lucky.
Oh,
I got inundated. When I found it,
Right.
it was there. And I was like,
Right.
I found the holy grail, and this is wrestling. And take it. This comes from a guy who look, I got football in the background. I love football. I love all sports. Football is my first love.
Right.
But when I fell in love with wrestling, there's that. Okay, think to yourself this time in the world.
Right.
It's after football season. Basketball season has ended. I really wasn't into hockey, and the only thing on was baseball, and I wasn't a baseball guy. So sports were dead for that like
Right.
3-month period,
Yeah.
and there was wrestling, and it was constant.
Perfect.
It was there for me, and it never went away. It didn't have an off season. It was always there
Nice.
for me.
Nice.
Let's
So yeah,
go.
sorry, long story,
No,
but man,
no.
that's
Are you kidding me? That's
if
what,
you
that's what
can't
we're here for.
if you can't see the passion I have for wrestling, even after all these years.
Right.
that-
Well,
that-
I mean, that's something that Eddie and I always like to say during our interviews is a lot of times the reasons we do this is for the people who just, see you guys as these big galoots and tights and everything's, predetermined. And we want to give people the opportunity to feel the love, to feel these emotions that you have, to show that there's not more to the character, the person inside. So we
Yeah.
love doing something like this, and an answer like that truly is engaging for the audience and honest at heart. So thank you. That's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff we live for.
I'm speaking from the heart, and people ask me, you can talk about wrestling all the time. My easy answer is, it's easy to talk about something you love.
There you
Right.
go.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Love
That-
that.
As long as you love it, you can
Right.
speak for hours on it.
Yep.
And
there we go.
wrestling's my first love. Wrestling's my love.
Absolutely.
Oh man, what an incredible answer. Okay. Okay, so in the interest of time, right? So now my question for you is this, right? Because thankfully we've had the privilege of talking to multiple talent this past year, and we've come to the conclusion that it's really hard to get into WWE. But not,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
only not
I mean,
only
it
is it
took us a long time to figure that one
Yeah,
out because
bro.
we
Whole
figured they
year.
were just handing him jobs out.
right. But not only is it hard to get in, but it's even harder to like stay in and stay relevant. So like
yeah.
our question to you, D'Lo, is like, how did you manage to not only keep evolving, but just maintain that longevity that you had throughout your Attitude Era run?
That's a culmination of luck, good fortune, and having good people around me who can. And it's a lot easier for other people to see the evolving landscape of the world, because sometimes you can't see them through your eyes. But when you surround yourself people you trust, and I got
Right.
lucky enough to have guys like Ron Simmons and Godfather and Mark Henry and Rocky around me, those were my core family. So as we all had the ability to tell the other, hey bro, might want to freshen something up a little, or hey, it's
Nice.
time to trying to move a little forward because you're getting a little stagnant, or
Right.
this didn't work, or that really worked. And when I'd go out and do something, and immediately I'd come back to the locker room, and the first people I would see would be my boys, and they would give me that instant feedback. That's more than I can see, because they're giving me that third person perspective,
Right.
and they're giving it to me. We had a rule that it was, don't ask the question if you're not willing to hear the real answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Solid.
And so there's a lot of, man, you did great out there. That was awesome. And then you go to your core guys who are going to tell you the truth.
Mhm.
Like,
And
dude,
that
that
and that's how
sucked.
you learn. That's how you, yeah, because I've come back and it'd be like, bro, that was a shits.
Wow.
I've come back and it's been, that was awesome. So
Right.
when you have those guys that you don't get offended by what they say, you just listen to what they say because they're giving you constructive criticism.
Mhm.
That's how you constantly evolve, and that's how you grow, is by relying on those around you that you can trust.
Oof.
Hell, that's not
I
a
love
wrong
that.
lesson. That's a life lesson.
That's a life, right? I'm about to
Yeah,
say
it is.
That's a life
that applies. That
lesson.
applies to everything. Like,
Yeah, it
that's-
is. Yes, sir.
Oh, I mean, you have two on us today. You can talk about something if you love it a lot, and then that. So we're already at
Man.
2. We're only 2 questions in. All right. So D'Lo, one of the reasons that Eddie and I love doing this podcast, and we call it Primos for Life, is because we are proud of our heritage, our Latino heritage, and
Mhm.
we know how important representation is. It's something I always echo in all of our episodes, no matter who we're speaking to. Is representation counts. Representation matters. So
Yes.
in the 90s and in the early aughts, representation for African Americans and Latinos, they were limited, often
Mhm.
stereotypical. when was the moment that you realized backstage that you not only had to like navigate wrestling politics, but cultural ones as well to succeed or to be able to not be, looked down upon or talked about?
Well, when you realize that you're on such a large stage, that is the WWE, it's the universe. Literally, the entire world is covered by their platform, and you realize how many young men and women of color are going to watch you, and how many are impressionable, like you were, like I was growing up. And it is important to see yourself in the characters you see on TV, and not just being a thief or a carjacker or any of those tropes, but to be a strong man of color and to stand up for your convictions. When you're on that platform, you're very cognizant of, bro, I got one chance to do this, because whatever I say or do,
Mhm.
there's going to be some little kid sitting with his grandmom at 9 or 10 years old going, Mom, I found real wrestling. And they're going to live on that like I did.
Right.
And so you got to you've really got, it's a responsibility that you've got to put on your shoulders, because it's one that you accept for being in that position. If you don't want to be, if you don't want to be a role model, don't be in front of the people,
Right.
because someone is going to look up to you. And if they're going to look up to you, then you better damn sure be the person that they want to be in life, not just, what they see everywhere else in the streets or,
Right.
on the corner. You want to be what someone aspires to become in life. And you know that pretty straight away, because look, I was that kid who was inspired. Ron Simmons inspired me. So it's just that natural thing. And I, and all of us, it took a minute to really wrap our brains around the cultural significance of what the nation was. And it
Mhm.
represented more than just a bunch of guys being angry and wrestling. It represented men of color who were going to get whatever the hell they wanted, and you weren't going to stop them from getting it. They were going to work their ass off it. If you got in their way, they're going to kick your ass and take it anyway.
Nice.
Oof.
Nice. I'm good.
Oh, D'Lo,
Just
I'm
drop the
loving
mic.
these
Just drop the mic.
answers.
Just drop the mic. That's it. Just drop it right there. We're good.
Oh man. Well, see, because and just to kind of segue from that answer right into the next question, and obviously we're not speaking for all Latino fans, but as Latino fans, we could say that the Latino fans respected you because you brought such a level of authenticity, even when the business didn't always like offer characters that felt real. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
but in that same regards, did you ever like turn down a gimmick or a storyline because you knew in your heart that it didn't represent you the right way?
There were a few, none that even are worth even mentioning, because for various reasons they were kind of simple and stupid.
Okay.
Just know that in the beginning, when you get there, you have to take what you're given,
Mhm.
and then the goal is to get yourself in a position where you can kind of say, I'm not comfortable with that, or can we do this a different way?
Right.
And there were several times where, and I learned this from Ron. There were a couple things that they wanted the nation to do that Ron goes, nah, we ain't doing that. We
Right.
we we ain't doing that. We could do it like this, but we ain't gonna do it like that.
Mm.
And that's the greatest teacher in the world, of seeing someone you idolize and seeing someone you respect teach you how to be a businessman and teach you how to navigate the business. So um once I a great example in Ron of how to navigate not doing anything that was going to undermine the authenticity of what we were, what we were trying to accomplish.
Wow.
I mean,
Oh man.
well, so in that vein, you're kind of leading me to the next question, because I remember vividly, for all the wrong reasons,
hmm
the DX promo,
Yeah.
where, so my question is, as you said, you want to get to a point where you can say, not comfortable, not, like
hmm
this. Was there any point where they had brought, first of all, I'm assuming they brought this to you and presented it and said, this is, was there any point where you were like, can we work this a different way? Can we do this? Can they just not be in straight up blackface? Was there anything along those lines? And please feel free to not answer the question if you do not
no,
want
no,
to.
And we also get
I
that it was a different time too. We
Yeah,
understand that.
and
once
that's
again,
where I was going to go there. It's a different time. If I look at it with 1997 eyes compared to 2025 eyes,
right?
man, there'd be a lot of things I would do different. In 97, they came up to us and asked us what they want to do. And there were things that we said, "Now, can we not do that? Or can we do it this way?" And they
Right.
were all cool with it. And what they went out there and did was entertaining, and it was funny, and it started off an angle. Now, that's with 97 eyes,
Right.
because the world was a whole different place. With 2025 eyes and me being this year's old, I would look at it and go, we could have done the exact same thing without the afro or the blackface. And we could have been just as funny and just as they could have been just funny, just cutting edge, and gotten the angle started. But once again, that's retrospective.
Yeah.
I can't rewrite history.
Hindsight's always
Um,
2020, right?
If I were going to write that segment today, it'd be done a completely different way, and it would get the same kind of reaction. 97 me loved it. 2025 me would rewrite it.
I
That's
mean,
fair.
that's yeah. I mean, that's as honest as you can get, because that's Eddie and I. We did mention that. I mean, we were talking about different times, and it's you don't really want to use it as a cop out answer, but unfortunately, it's what was happening at that time. And like you said,
It's the world. I mean,
Right.
if that's the case, we'd never have had a movie like Tropic Thunder where
Oh,
Robert Downey
Tropic
Jr.
Thunder.
was a white guy playing a black guy who was a black guy playing a white guy, and the satire of it was, we're laughing about it because it was funny,
because it was funny.
because it was funny. But that movie would never get made in 2025, 2026.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a shame. And I think we can look at things and appreciate them for what they were, understand they wouldn't be done today,
Mhm.
and not try to judge them with today's eyes. Go, well, it was a different world back then, and they
Right.
did stuff a lot differently 30 years ago.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
you're right about it, because the one thing that and Ariel will tell you this, like the one thing that is like buried in the back of my mind that I try not to bring up, but yet I keep bringing it up, is the Mark Henry, and Mae Young hand birth, right? Like that's another one
Yeah.
that I could live
Yeah,
without.
yeah.
You
No,
know what I
and-
mean?
Mark and I were just talking about his son the other day.
Oh man.
Oh
Yeah, no, look, here's the thing is, we tend to remember Attitude for all the cool things that happened, and how it was cutting edge, and how it was cool to talk around the water cooler about it. Man, there were some misses during the Attitude era. But we forgive them because of all the good stuff that happened.
Right.
We go,
right.
well, 8 out of 10 ain't bad.
Right, it's
And
a
we
B.
forget the two
It's a
that
B.
we forget the two that went wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
It is
That's
what it is. It is
That's
what
fair.
it is.
That's fair. Oh man. Okay. So let's go back to the nation, right? So
Yes, sir.
during that time frame, I remember as a child like watching you guys, and I remember feeling like a sense of identity and empowerment, even at a young age, because at that time, I honestly could have sworn that you and Rocky were like somewhat Latino at some point. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I was like,
Right.
you could tell Mark and Godfather, and Farouk, like,
Like, there's Dominican in there somewhere.
Right, it's exactly.
We got the high yellow skin. We got the high yellow skin.
Right.
That's
I
what
get
it
it.
is.
So there's Latino in there somewhere. So, but going back, what do you think that what do you think that the Nation of Domination represented culturally? Like, just beyond storylines, how do you think it impacted minority communities, watching at home? Just to kind of further expand on that, because I know you touched on it earlier, but I just want to get like the full thought there.
I can always go back to, we were trying to show young men and women of color, you could be anything you damn well want to be.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you can get anything in this world you want to get. Just be strong, be determined, and don't let anyone undersell you. And the Nation was that. It was, even when Owen was in there,
Mhm.
it was we were a group of guys who were going to take what we wanted.
Yeah.
If we earned it, if we didn't, because we're heels, we could take it.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah.
we were going to get we want it because we want it more than they were giving us, and I think you can use that along in life. As a minority in this country, we can always grasp for more. We don't have to take the crumbs that are thrown. I want the whole damn cake.
There you go.
There you
There you
go.
go.
I want the whole damn cake.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's man. That's
I want the
please.
same dream. I want the same dream everybody else has. I want the cake.
That's it.
Yeah. No, I love
That's
that. I love that. And I think what makes me happy that you brought up Owen Hart is you're right. As two, guys that came up and grew up in New York, that's a melting pot in his own. You know what I mean? So I remember in high school, hanging out with my friends, and you have your Latino, you have your Black friends, but it was beautiful to have a group of friends that wasn't just that, because I had my Asian friends, my white friends, Italian friends,
Yeah.
you name it. And I think that's what made that at that point the Nation of Domination even more incredible and more awesome, is that the fact that you guys brought Owen in.
Right.
It's like it no longer became, if you ever thought it was a color thing,
Right.
now that's completely gone, because
It wasn't just
It's a
militant
brotherhood
black
now.
guys anymore. Like it's like no, there's the white dude there. Like yeah,
And that's
there's
how
brotherhood.
I always default. That's how I always default to. We were just angry and we wanted our piece. And
There you
we
go.
proved that. We proved that when Owen came in, because it wasn't about color. It wasn't about angry black men. It was
Mhm.
just angry men.
Right.
Yes.
Angry men who just wanted their fair shake.
That's it. That's it. Oh,
And look, in my world too, I
Mhm.
have a mosaic of friends. I don't have just all black friends or all white friends. My friends are the Rainbow Coalition. And I like that because I don't want to be around just me.
Right.
I want to be
Right.
cultured and be around the world and be around every kind of culture I can, because you could take something from every culture and make it your
Exactly.
own.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you limit yourself to I can only do this, then that's you missing out on a lot of beautiful things in this world that the world has to offer.
That's truth.
Yeah.
That's truth right there. That is absolutely truth. That man. D'Lo, you're I mean, you're just coming off amazing. But so
Yeah.
you mentioned
I'm Uncle Phil, bro. I got all of it. I'm
listen,
Uncle Phil.
I'll take it, man. Are you kidding me? Dope.
You're rocking
so
it, man.
You mentioned Owen, rest in peace, Owen Hart. And I saw I forget what it was, but it was an interview with you where you had said that one time you were wrestling with Owen, you were a little tight in the ring. So to loosen you up, he like untied your shoelaces. And then he had
Yes.
you and then he had you in a headlock and he's like, look at your shoe. And then you're like, holy cow. And then he untied your
Yes.
other one. And then he said, now look at the ref shoe. And he untied the ref
Yes.
shoe. Like, right?
Yes.
So with someone like that, who's so technically sound, like first of all, how good do you have to be to pull that maneuver off?
You've got to.
Let's start there. How good do you have to be to get 3 laces untied?
I'll stop right there. And I say that, and if you know my career, so you know the guys I've been in the ring with, the talent, the big names, the superstars, the people no one ever heard of. Owen is the best wrestler I've ever laid hands on.
Wow.
He is the most technically sound. He was the most gifted. He just had a feel for everything that was going on. And the story, like I told you, Owen could rib you. He could tell you a joke. He could tell you the story in the ring, all in front of 20,000 people. Only you and him knew the inside joke. Everyone else saw a hell of a match. That's how good Owen was.
Amazing.
That's how gifted you gotta be. You're next level gifted that you can pull that off and no one notices but you and him.
That's that when I saw that, I was just like, no, you have to be like for you not to notice you're wrestling this gentleman, and for the ref who's supposed to have his eyes on everything not to notice that his shoelace is untied too is just so part 2 of my question with this is, I mean, because it sounds like Owen was always just kind of a ham too. Like, was there one moment that you remember where, I mean, it was just you and the guys were just full belly aching laugh backstage? You almost broke character. Like it was because, Owen did something or someone just did something that was, is there one thing? I mean, because I'm sure there's plenty, but is there one that was like full on that you recall?
There's not really one moment, because life was always fun backstage. Guys like Owen were the life of the party. And if they saw someone down, they would get you in a good mood. They'd help you up. They'd get you going, whether it be a rib or a joke and it just, we tried to keep the backstage light and happy because we're on the road 300 days a year and we're driving 30,000 miles a year, you know, and we're flying on planes, and, you know, one night you're in Pittsburgh, the next night you're in Paris. Like it's a grind. So we've all got to, you know, it was the locker room itself would keep us all going. And if one person was down, we'd all lift them up. So there's 1,000 moments where I was belly laughing, 1,000 moments where I literally pissed my pants with laughter. And all of them are just because of the brotherhood that we had in that locker room. And you know, every locker room is the same, but different in many ways. That locker room today, the WWE, they've got their guys who are the guys who are going to keep the spirits up. They've got their ribbers, they've got their jokers, you know, and it's thankfully I had good guys like Owen and Davey who were always ribbing everybody. Nothing malicious, just enough to make everybody laugh.
Pure fun.
Pure fun. Just enough to get everybody laughing.
Okay, so just to kind of add on to Ariel's question, but in a different way, right? Because one thing that we've also gathered in conversing with a lot of talent this year, you know, wrestlers always talk about like the road trips, you know, being legendary. If you're on the road, you know, from Florida to, you know, Alabama or Tennessee, that's 12 hours, you know, getting stuck at a Buc-ee's or this or that. So there's gotta be like a wild story, or like, what is the most memorable road trip that you had with the guys or with someone who you didn't expect to ride with on a particular trip? Or, you know, funny, chaotic, just straight up ridiculous. Is there one that stands out?
Keeping in mind, we're not trying to get you in any trouble. Keep
No,
this in
keep
mind.
it
We're not,
PG.
we're
Whatever
not
you
trying
want to share.
No. You don't have to keep it PG. We just don't want to get you in any trouble.
Yeah, no,
We
the
fine.
look, the statute of limitations hasn't run out on a lot of it, so we'll just keep it on the down low. But
Great.
we used to, because we're on the road a lot. In between shows, we're driving 200 miles in between shows. So we would do things like road wars. And road wars are, let's just say, if you went to Burger King, you didn't completely finish your sandwich, or if you had a bunch of like half-eaten hot dogs in the car, you would kind of put them in a pile and you'd keep them in the back seat. And as you're driving down the road, if you see any of the boys, you pull up, window down, 80 miles an hour, and you start throwing the stuff out of the car at them.
Oh,
Just
no.
throw food.
Okay, so this is Road War. So I'm going to tell you the story of the Magic Bullet.
Okay.
And
I like this already.
And so in one car, it's myself and Mark Henry.
Okay.
And in the other car, it's Rocky and Brian Christopher.
Okay.
And Brian Christopher's driving their car, and Mark is driving our car. And so Brian Christopher comes up, and they fly up next to us, and they throw like a milkshake at us on the window.
Shit. Oh, damn.
Right? Mark turns the windshield wipers on, and Mark's like, "What do we got there? What do we got in the back? What do we got in the back?" And now I'm jumping in the back seat. I'm like, "What do we got? What do we got?" And I go, "Bro, I got a half-eaten burger. I got a half." And Mark goes, "Give me that." And so they hit us with the milkshake, and they drove on. So Mark, he floors it. And so we're riding up, and Brian Christopher, he's got his window rolled up, and he's laughing at us. He's laughing at us.
Man.
And I'm going, "Roll your window down." He's like, "No." So finally he throws a crack in his window, in his driver's side window, and it's like this big. This is no joke. And he's going, "Ha ha ha." And Mark goes, "Watch this." And he does a sky hook. And we're doing 80 miles an hour on I-90, 94, going from Detroit to Grand Rapids. And Mark goes, and he hooks it. And you see this burger go, and right through the crack, right on the Brian Christopher's chest. And all you see is Brian Christopher going, It was the most impossible shot. And Mark was like, "I made that." I was like, "You made that." And for the next 2 hours, we're laughing our ass off because, like, how the hell did you make that shot?
Wow.
Like Michael Jordan couldn't make that freaking shot. The burger was bigger than the opening, but somehow got in there and all you saw was mayonnaise, lettuce,
Nice.
tomato all on Brian Christopher's chest. And that was the magic bullet. And Mark Henry and I talk about that till this very day.
That is awesome.
I
That
mean,
is
that-
hysterical.
I mean, that's just simple physics. I mean, at 80 miles per hour, the velocity of the burger just
Yeah.
kind of shrinks into the window. No,
Right.
I'm
It
just kidding.
shrinks.
I don't know.
And
I don't know. I was just messing.
The coefficient of the draft and the up, I don't know how he made that. I don't know how he did that. And if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, if Mark would have told me the story later on, I'd have called him a liar. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it.
Oh my gosh,
Man,
man! And you know what? And what's crazy is if that would have happened in 2025, you would have had your phone. We could have, like, we all could
We
have
would
seen
have,
it.
yes, because now everything is no matter what I'm doing, I'm holding this up. Back
Yeah,
then
oh,
we
yeah.
didn't have that. It
Oh,
was,
man.
I'm not gonna pull out a freaking Kodak camera and take pictures.
You gotta wind
Wait,
it up.
Let me wind that in. Okay, let's take two. Take two. And hold the burger.
Oh man, that's
great.
awesome.
That's great. Well, D'Lo, so you've seen, I mean, this wrestling game from, like you said, when you found it, and said, "Grandma, I found real wrestling," to where we are today. So another two-sided question in terms of your answers. So if you could bring back one element of old school wrestling that this generation of wrestlers have never experienced, a vibe, a tradition, a backstage ritual, something like that, what would it be? And B, if you had to make a move that has been deemed illegal and bring it
Mhm.
back, what move would that be? No matter how old that was. So,
Okay.
So that's why I'm hitting you with a two-parter. Sorry, so.
No. So the first part of that question, I would, if I could bring something back for this generation to experience and feel, would be when the fans knew a little less and thought it was more real, and got caught up more in the actual physicality of what we're doing, and it was more being spectators than critiquing. Which it is what it is, but I there's a certain feeling when you can make an audience believe,
Right.
and there's a certain pride you get when you can make the audience think these two guys really hate each other and these two guys really are going at it. And yes, I appreciate the athleticism what we're doing today. I just wish I could, if the fans and the boys were to appreciate and experience that realism and seeing as a fan with that realism, and the boys, they would never want to go back to what we are today, because today's more of a show instead of a fight.
Yeah.
And there was just it was a different vibe in the building when they had that big fight feel and not the big television feel.
That's a great
See,
answer.
that's it, because I remember even like it was it Lord Alfred Tunney when he'd be like, "Yeah, the winner's gonna get to go to the pay window."
The pay
Because
window,
they made you believe that
because
if you
when
won, you got the bigger
paid
check.
more.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. They
And
made
that's
you
why God-
believe that.
And
Like-
because that was something we all could get around, because we all knew the value of money is if I won the match, I got
Right.
paid more than the loser. Thus, this
Right.
is why heels cheated and babyfaces fighting
And
so hard.
babyfaces did.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was Lord Alfred Hayes. Lord Alfred Hayes.
Lord Alfred Hayes.
Jack Tunney was the president. Lord Alfred Hayes.
Jack
was
Tunney
the,
was president, yes.
He was the president,
And Gorilla
but so-
Monsoon was your color commentator.
He was your color guy.
play-by-play guy. Yep,
Absolutely.
yep.
Absolutely. But yeah, I remember I remember the pay window very vividly.
Yeah, no, that would be the one thing. If I could let this generation experience the realism, they would never want to go back. They would never want to go back.
Okay. And then
Um,
what's the move that you would bring back?
That's a good one, because man, there's really nothing that's not being done right now that's
That's a good
deemed
point.
illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's no longer illegal moves, because we all know it's a work. So it's not like back in the day when the pile driver or the DDT scared the ever loving hell out of you.
Right.
There's really nothing left to the imagination, because it's all out there now, because there's nothing scary enough where you go, no one should be getting dropped on their head like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, that's
Right,
fair.
got it.
Man,
Yeah, no,
So,
nailed it.
okay, so now in that same train of thought, when it comes to today's product, right? I mean,
hmm
we look at the WWEs, the AEWs, TNA, New Japan. As a fan and veteran, right? Well, veteran
yep.
and fan, right? Um, what trends, styles, or energy in the wrestling business you see today that kind of genuinely gets you excited? Like is there something that you foresee, being an expert in the business in that regards, that you could be like, "Oh, that's gonna be good, and in 5 years, this is gonna happen," or to your other point, it's like, well, there's everything's pretty much being done now, so where's the surprise? Like, is there something like that, that you've seen?
I don't know if there's one thing like that where it's like, I can't wait for it to happen or I foresee it being the next big thing. I can just tell you that this generation is the most athletic wrestling has ever been. And I
Mm.
think that's an amazing trend. Um, to see what the young men and women can do now on the mat, above the rope, over the top rope to like, that's some incredible stuff that I couldn't even imagine myself doing. And to see them do it with such ease,
Mm,
to see them pulling these things off like, we're just going to dive into a pool. That's how easy it feels to watch. Um, I want the business to get more athletic. I want the business to get more in deep with the psychology of matches. I think those things are constants and will carry the business forward. And as long as there's young men and women who fall in love with this like we did, there's going to be a steady line of talent ready
There you
to
go.
be the next one to go bump.
There you go.
And that's to me is a beautiful thing.
That's it.
okay,
That's
okay.
it. That's
So
great.
so so then, D'Lo, to kinda just add an additional piece to that question, and
hmm
then I'll pass it on to my primo Ariel to bring it home with our, staple sandwich question smorgasbord that we do. See, I already
Staple
butchered it.
question sandwich.
Just
Jesus,
can't get
man.
it. You never get it. I don't know
Question
why.
sandwich, bro.
My bad, my bad. Okay.
Dealer's been
Um,
on for a half hour and he knows.
I know,
Look,
D'Lo, you're the
you can
man.
call it you can even call it a question hoagie or a question sub, or
Let's
if you're up in
go.
New England, you call it a
That's
question grinder.
that's the
There's a
Philly, the hoagie.
come on, bro.
That's the
You're right.
South Jersey
You're
Philly,
right.
the hoagie. Yeah.
You
You're right.
damn
You're
Okay.
right,
right.
the hoagie.
Yeah.
Now, you've helped guide a tremendous amount of talent over the years. Is there someone in today's wrestling scene that you look at and you think, yeah, no, they're the future of this business? I mean, whether they're in the indies, whether they're on the main promotions, is there, because
hmm
everybody, like, the reason why I ask is because everybody's like, oh, Braun Breaker's the future, Logan Paul's the future, Darby Allin's the future, and it's like, okay, 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 but what? Who really is it? MJF, you know what I mean? Like, who do you see
Yeah.
that to be the person?
The guy I like a lot is Obafemi. Like,
Yes.
uh, he's got the size, he's got the look. His wrestling is really rounding into shape. When he makes to the main roster, that's a freak right there. And I think I look at Oba now the way I looked at Roman Reigns in 2012 when I went,
Wow.
he's the third guy in this group, but that dude's going to be somebody.
Right.
Obafemi is NXT in the minors right now. That dude gonna be somebody.
That's right. All right. You heard it.
That dude
Y'all
gonna be
heard it.
somebody.
Y'all heard it. Primos. You heard it. Obafemi. Obafemi. All right.
Next
Well,
one up.
D-Lo. So the sandwich hoagie or the question hoagie. See,
Mhm.
now I'm
There it
messing it
is.
up. See, this kid's on me now. So before I get to the bottom of the question hoagie, there is one curveball thing that, and I say curveball, I mean just because Eddie and I didn't really have a chance to speak about it. I also saw in an interview where you had mentioned that you would not go into the WWE Hall of Fame unless
Mhm.
Draws went in with you.
Mhm.
Being part of that horrible accident, I also saw where you said it was actually JR who called you and said, "Don't let two careers die
Yes.
on this particular day." Knowing that you and Draws talked about it and you watched the film back and that there's nothing else could be done and that he's no longer with us, um, I mean, did it just feel natural to you to say, I'm not going in unless he can come in with me? Like, is this, were you approached and did it actually happen? Or are you just like, that's just the only way that I would feel comfortable going in?
That's the way I feel comfortable going in because when JR gave me the speech of let's not have two careers end, it was also now go continue wrestling and you wrestle for 2 careers. So it is only fitting that if I'm ever fortunate enough to go in as part of the nation or by myself or whatever, uh, I would love Draws to be there with me. Um, he can't be there physically, but in spirit, it would be a full circle moment because his career got cut short, and I need his career to have a nice bow at the end of it as well. So for me, that he's he's my brother. He's my brother from another mother, and we're linked forever. And I carry him with me everywhere I go. So why not carry him through the doors of the Hall of Fame?
Class act. Class act, D'Lo
Beautiful.
Brown. Class act. And then let me get to the bottom of the hoagie. I mean, you've done it. You've done, usually we say this question for, up and coming wrestlers. You've done it. You've faced some of the greatest people to ever lace their boots. So our question would generally be, your dream match, but who is someone that on the current roster that you think
Mhm.
you would have just a spectacular 5-star match with, and who is someone that you never had a chance to face, or possibly, was no longer with us, that you would have liked to have
Mhm.
had that match with?
Well, the easy answer is today I would wrestle Roman Reigns because it'd be the main event at Mania and it'd be the biggest payoffs. Um,
Wow,
but
another draw like
That's
answer.
we got that answer before. You're number 2
come
on
on, bro. But
that one.
I would love young D'Lo to be in the ring with a Braun Breaker or
Oh, nice.
a Bronson Reed, or I'd go out there with Cody and try to turn it up and have fun.
Okay.
Um, Obviously the mainstays Roman and all those guys. I'd love to have gotten in there with, you know, 35-year-old D'Lo, because that's kind of when I really knew what the hell I was doing. And if I could ever have a dream match, well, I've always said I would love to have wrestled Shawn Michaels.
Mm.
Um, I would have loved to wrestle Kurt Hennig. I thought
Mr.
I
Perfect.
I thought
Nice.
Mr. Perfect was probably the most all around well rounded wrestler I'd ever seen.
Mm.
And from the time I was growing up and then finally getting there and meeting him, it was pretty cool. Um, yeah, yeah, I never got to touch Shawn Michaels in the ring because DX and Nation never touched one because he was going through. That's when he had his back problems and he kind of left.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
When
then
they brought
Trip got elevated to the top. Um, and then I would love to gotten there with Bret Hart and
definitely.
and go in there with that technically sound wrestler to see if I could freaking go toe to toe and
If you
hold
could
up
go with them.
and stand next to him. You in any aspect of life, whether it's wrestling or sports or work, when you see the best there is, that's the measuring stick. You wanna stand up and measure yourself next to him and see where I stand.
Right.
So
Fact.
I would have never shied away from anyone who you consider the best in the world or the best in the business. I would have jumped at the chance to get in the ring with because I just wanted to see where I was.
Dope.
Oh, man, what an answer. D'Lo Brown, the great. I want you to see. You see these belts right here? I
Mhm.
purposely got the European belt because of you.
If you look over my shoulder, there she is sitting on the on the
Yep,
Right
on the
there.
I see
ledge
Right
it.
right
there.
there.
Right there. Yeah. Yeah. I
She's sitting
clocked that.
right there.
As soon as you turned it on, as soon as you turned the camera on, I was like, oh, there she is.
She's sitting right there. That's my mistress. I'll protect her.
No, but D'Lo, I just again, let's take this opportunity, to really thank you so much for your time. Thank you
Yeah.
for the opportunity. Thank you for being so amazing and candid and just hysterical and awesome and knowledgeable and just all the above throughout this conversation. I can't wait. We can't wait to chop this up and put it out and let the world see. But before we let you go, this is where we always provide, all our guests the opportunity to go ahead and let our listeners know where they could find you. If there's any matches, websites, anything
Social
that can
media
lead them
presence.
to you,
Right.
social media wise, email wise. The floor is yours. Please share with our listeners, our primos and primas. Where could they find D'Lo Brown?
Oh, I appreciate it, guys. And before I even go into the hard seller where you can find me, I appreciate you guys. You're authentic, you're
Oh,
real, you're knowledgeable, and you're professional as hell. And I think that's the biggest
man.
compliment I could pay to you guys is you're professional as hell. Um,
Coming from you, that is, you have no idea.
just boys, my my one word advice is keep up the grind. Just keep up the grind. That's
let's
all you got to
go,
do.
D'Lo.
Just
Got it.
keep
Let's
up the grind. That's
go.
it.
That,
I
that's
hope
from
you
your
know,
lips.
as soon as the season's
From your
over, I'm gonna like go to my wife and be like, D'Lo Brown said we were amazing, and I'm just gonna cry. I'm just gonna,
There's going to be a lot
Uh,
of fanboying. There's going to be a lot of fanboying. But let's get
it's
into it. D'Lo, please tell the world
so
where they can find you.
you can find me. I'm always on Twitter at DLoBrown75. And my old joke is I used to be the only verified D'Lo, but you can buy a blue check for $5 now. So you got
Good
to
point.
look for me. And then you'll find me on Insta at D'Lo Brown LFC. And on there, I talk everything from Liverpool football to Chicago Bears football to where I'm at, what I'm doing, any of my thoughts on the business. It's all there in living color. I go over some old matches, throw up some clips of the glory days. So, find me on Twitter or on Insta and look, interact with me. I love interaction. Drop in the comments and say some stuff. And I'm on there every day. I'll say something back.
let's
And you can
go.
you can get my coming and goings all over there, man. So come hit me up. I'm easy to talk to.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Awesome.
D'Lo Brown, man. Well, you're definitely gonna get. I'm following you as soon as I get out of here. I'm following everything that you have. So you're gonna see my name pop up a lot. But once again, man, like we truly like. I mean, Eddie and I have been at this for a year. So to be able to have someone of your stature, of your candor, just come here and, like you said, chat with two guys who just grew up loving wrestling. And honestly, and I'm not just saying this, you are a big part of why we grew up loving
Absolutely.
wrestling. Because, like you said, those glue guys, the guys that we know that worked in the ring, I mean, it was always great. The head shake. I remember when the nation was there. I remember I watched you and Rocky, and I looked at my brother and my best friend, and I was like, these two, there's something about these two, and both of you were, I mean, just absolutely amazing, man. And so
Yeah.
what I gotta say is fanboying out, 16-year-old me is losing his mind right now.
Yeah.
46-year-old me is doing a real great job of keeping it in check. But 16-year-old me, man, that motherfucker, he jumping out right now. So
Yeah.
I want to
Facts.
wholeheartedly thank you, and to tell you, please, if you ever have a little more time and you do not mind another conversation, we would love to have you back.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's so much more that you can teach, not only us, but our primos and primas around the world, because now you are officially a primo. You
That's
are,
right.
you're Primo
Primo.
Brown, so like that's you. So we couldn't, once again, thank you for your honesty, your candor, your professionalism, your time, and just overall your presence for showing minorities, whether Black, Latino, Asian, whoever they are, that if you go for it and you want it, you don't take no for an answer, and you
That's
strive.
right.
And that is something that's bigger than wrestling. That is a life lesson. And that is where I will say, thank you again, D'Lo Brown. You are amazing.
Yes.
Thank you, boys. I appreciate it. I'd love to come back on and chop it up again anytime. And I'll just say, Primos for life.
Hey, let's go,
Yes,
D'Lo
man.
Brown. And all right, D'Lo, real quick before we let you go, just
Yes,
when you get a
sir.
chance, send me a PO box and send me your shirt size. We're gonna get you a Primos for Life shirt.
You
all
got one
right?
coming. You
Bro-
got one coming.
Then the next time we chop it up, I will be wearing the Primo shirt. Trust me on that.
Let's go.
All right.
Oh,
I
D'Lo
appreciate
Brown,
you,
D'Lo, are you
boys.
kidding me? Do you know what this is? Okay, now I'm
Yeah,
fanboying
you're
out.
the
Now I'm fanboying
man. You're looking at the real deal now.
Woo!
Come on
D'Lo.
now. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
you,
man.
boys. Thank you.
Man. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you
a
from the
good one,
bottom of my
man.
heart. Thank you. Thank you for making my evening good tonight, and I appreciate you.
Be
And
safe.
once
Happy
again,
holidays to you and the
happy
family,
holidays
brother.
to
Okay?
you,
Yes.
and keep it going, man. Keep up the grind.
Thanks, D.
Appreciate
Appreciate
you,
you,
brother.
man.
Appreciate you,
so
boys.
much.
Take care,
Thank
D'Lo.
you.
D'Lo Brown.
Better
Woo!
recognize.
Take care, brother.
Yes.
Woo!
This is the best. Are you kidding me? I can't. This is the best.
Bro,
This is the fucking
that
best.
was ridiculous. Okay, first of all, let me just say, Primo, after a year of doing this, my man, I could have sworn as you were asking your questions, I'm sitting here and I'm like, am I watching ESPN? Am I watching a 30 for 30, bro? Because, dude, like the evolution of this podcast has been wild to see you work, my man.
Well,
I
I
am
mean,
so proud of
it's
you, and I
props to
love
you,
you,
man.
bro.
I'm
Whew.
bringing what you're bringing to the table. I'm just trying to match your energy. You're out here running it, giving it all. So I got to do the same thing, and especially when we got D'Lo Brown on. So, but I thank you humbly for the compliment, man. And like I said, I'm only this good because you bring me to your level. So that's all I can say.
Primo.
That's all
Yes.
I can say, bro. That's it. But I mean, for the primos and primas, listen, I'm really sorry if you guys are annoyed by us geeking out right now, and you can turn the episode off, but we hope you don't, because this was truly a moment for Eddie and I. Like, this
Yeah.
truly was. And I can't thank D'Lo Brown enough. Like,
Yeah.
he's awesome. He was authentic and real and honest, and I love that he didn't shy away from anything. And it was fantastic, man. It was truly, truly magic. I hope everyone, as I always say, I hope everyone enjoys listening to it as much as we are making it. But this was definitely one of the highlights of the year so far.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, to kind of just piggyback on that sentiment and also bring it home, um, for us to look back and say, hey, man, let's start a podcast. What are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? And then one of our first episodes, it's like, who had the best frog splash, which I'm glad we didn't bring up. But,
Yeah, no, because are you kidding me? He would have frog splashed me. He would have got my address and been like, I didn't make your top 3. You mother.
You're looking at the real. But no, listen.
Yeah.
But to sit here and end the year of our season 1 of the first season of Primos for Life with D'Lo Brown. If you told me a year ago that we were going to start a podcast, B, we were going to be talking to wrestlers and end the year with a WWE Attitude Era legend, one of the best intercontinental and European champions of all time.
The best European, hands down. There's not even a question. They're one of the best I see, but I can wholeheartedly say the best European.
Facts.
Hands down. That I can give him. Absolutely.
I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, bro, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it. But on that same frame of thought, I'm just very happy that we got to this point. I'm glad that we're finished this year strong, because next year it's going to be even better, brother.
Coming back. We coming back, y'all. Y'all wait. You think we're annoying now?
Woo!
Just you wait. It's gonna be more annoying. Well, on that note, Eddie, I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you rock out this time and
yes, no, bro. I know, because you need to simmer down.
Yeah,
but
so excited.
But let's take this opportunity to go ahead and thank all of our primos and primas, our listeners. When I say that we truly, truly love and adore you, we truly mean it, because you have no idea. We see the numbers, we see the responses, we see the shares, we see the likes, we see the reposting, we see the interactions on the website, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. Every day we're seeing somebody new come through, and it's happening organically, and we're happy in the way that it's happening, and we love every single one of you. And if you want to continue to support us and watch us, you can find us at primosforlife.com. And what do you got to do when you get there, Primo?
You smash the like button. You smash the like button. You subscribe. You smash more. Whatever button it is, just bah.
Yeah, man.
Do it.
Pero, bueno, Primo. I mean, I'm gassed out, man.
I mean, I need shit, dude. I need a few moments to myself. This was great, and as Eddie said, we couldn't do this without you guys. It's a great ride. It's better when you're on the ride with us, and humbly, two guys who started, 9 months ago to almost 12 months ago, and the first episode, if you go back, and please don't go back and listen to it, anybody.
Don't go back, but see the growth.
Well, okay, but remind everybody,
see the evolution.
I was sick on that first episode, and I headphones. It was either way, but no, we wholeheartedly thank you guys. Like, this is all great, and it's just so much greater because of you guys. Primos, primas, everybody who takes a moment of time to give us a listen or a play. Thank you very much, wholeheartedly. Can't thank you enough. And thank you once again to the amazing D'Lo Brown. And I'm going to go, but before I leave, I will leave everybody with the usual Nos vemos cuando nos vemos. Muchísimas gracias por todo. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate it. Love you.
Yes. We will see you when we see you. We love you. Take care. See you at season 2, baby.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Ciao.